Welcome to What About Nutrition on Westplex News Talk 94.1, the show that explores the link between nutrition and optimum health and asks the overlooked question, what about nutrition? Every day there's more scientific evidence and research regarding the critical importance of nutrition for the promotion of optimum health. On What About Nutrition on Westplex News Talk 94.1, we'll focus in on dietary supplements, herbs, vitamins, and homeopathic remedies. What they are, what they do, and how to use them. We will also discuss diet, exercise, and other aspects of living a healthy lifestyle in the 21st century. Your host this morning is Dave Gall, and for the rest of the shows you're going to be listening to, because you're going to be captivated by the show, he's the owner of O'Fallon Nutrition in O'Fallon, Missouri, and a graduate of Washington University and Huntington College of Health Sciences Comprehensive Nutrition Program. Remember, always consult your healthcare practitioner before beginning any new supplements or any changes to your lifestyle. The purpose of this show is to inform, educate, and entertain, not to diagnose, treat, or prevent any disease. Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to the first installment about What About Nutrition, and we're with Dave Gall right now. Good morning, Dave. How you doing?
Hey there, Steve. How's it going?
It's going wonderful. I'm so, as an owner of the radio station, I'm so excited to introduce the public to this show. It's going to be a half hour from 11 to 11:30 every Saturday on Westplex News Talk 94.1. You can also pick us up on our stream by going to westplexnewstalk.com. Dave, so happy about having you on board. Just so excited about it. What can people look forward to hearing about on this program?
Well, Steve, I'm really thrilled to be here, and I'm glad you bring that up. And I guess I just wanted to point out today on our first show that I want to introduce myself. My name's Dave Gall, and I wanted to give everybody an idea of what this thing's going to be all about. As I said, I'm Dave Gall. I'm the owner of one of the best nutrition stores in the area, O'Fallon Nutrition. And I'd like to kind of tell you all what I intend to do with this program. My passion is teaching people about nutrition, and to a greater extent, health in general. I became interested in nutrition at a very early age. When I was growing up, my mom was often very sick due to Crohn's disease, a chronic digestive ailment, and my father, who had a degree in biology, tried to investigate ways to improve her health. Now, he was no health nut, and he was famous at the time for how many Whoppers he could eat. But nevertheless, his investigations led him accidentally to nutrition over and over, and he slowly got more and more into the study of it. Well, later on, my parents divorced, and I ended up becoming kind of a chubby kid. Then, when I was around 12, my dad got the idea to pay me to read a few of his paperback nutrition books that he had lying around his apartment. I was bored and I was very interested in earning the cash, so I went for it, and I read about half a dozen books that summer. Books like Eat to Win by Dr. Robert Haas and books by Gary Knoll, etc. Now, some of these books are obsolete today, but they really did form the foundation of my learning. And I can tell you the rest of that story later, but the point is that those first nutrition books that I read sparked an interest that continues to this day. You know, perhaps because my mom was ill and I was overweight as a kid and then I had a few other health problems, I really started to see that nutrition, and specifically imbalances of nutrition, were at the core of most of those big problems in my life. After owning O'Fallon Nutrition since 2002 and working with thousands of individuals seeking better health, I've become convinced that issues with nutrition are a major factor in everyone's life. Time and again, nutrition comes up as the single most overlooked factor as a means to maintain and improve health. Which leads me to this show, What About Nutrition? My goal is to explore with all of you how nutrition impacts so many critical areas of our lives and how utterly important it is to be aware of that and harness that knowledge. I believe that once you understand that nutrition is this important, you empower yourself to be more in control of your health. Beyond basic needs like oxygen and a comfortable climate and water, which is basically a nutritional issue itself, what's more important for the maintenance and promotion of the health of a human being than their diet? Or more specifically, their nutrition. So, we're going to do a lot of talking about how nutrition fits into so many scenarios, and you're going to be doing a lot of learning. We'll also be getting into other categories that complement nutrition, such as herbal remedies, toxins in our food and body care, sports nutrition and performance, and more. This is going to be really interesting, Steve.
Yeah, we're just we're a country that's really gotten off path. I think Missouri is the most obese state in America, and America is the most obese and overweight. And maybe even undernourished in some respects, and you'll get into that later.
Definitely.
Than any other country in the world. So, well, I can't really say that, obviously, but let's say
We're right up there.
We're right up there. And you think of Ethiopia and places like that with undernutrition, but in many respects, we're just as bad off, I would suppose.
Oh, sure. And you can be malnourished and overweight, and that's
Yeah.
a concept a lot of people aren't aware of.
Absolutely.
Where they've got plenty of calories coming in, but not enough nutrition.
Absolutely, and you'll be getting into that as well. Nutrition is something that there's been so much research, even in the last 10 years or 5-10 years.
Of course.
It's been phenomenal research. And one of the questions that I wanted to ask you in the course of the show, maybe we can do that today, is how your general practitioner, your doctor views this in the medical field, the AMA. How do they look at nutrition stores like yours? Because we all know so much money is made on just prescriptions and drugs and pharmaceuticals, but when you're dealing with Othello Nutrition, you're dealing with a lot of what do you call them, herbs and
Sure.
supplements and things
Right.
like that
Right.
that are very special.
Of course.
And now they're very research. What do you say about that?
Well, I think this is a really interesting transitional time in that sense. We actually have local health practitioners, including MDs, chiropractors, plastic surgeons, you name it, who actually suggest dietary supplements or herbs or homeopathic remedies such as arnica to their patients or clients. And we see those folks in the store every day. And regarding the science, it's been very fascinating. I'd say over the last 10 to 15 years, there's been a dramatic increase in the number of studies being done, the amount of research. Major universities are getting into this. Pharmaceutical companies, of course, have been seeking natural remedies in the rainforest and places like that for decades. You know, we're always hearing about finding the next big drug in the rainforest. Well, you know, if those next big drugs are coming from the rainforest, and they're starting off as a natural remedy before they get turned into a drug.
Now, isn't it also true that let's take resveratrol or
Sure.
omega 3s? I've been taking. I'm a heavy guy. I've got a very good genetic line. All my grandparents have lived to 98 to 103.
Excellent.
My father has been overweight most of his life, and he's going strong and very mentally strong at age 90.
Wow.
So I've got good genes, and that's very important. But we all know that we do age, and
Sure.
recently resveratrol was the benefits of that. That's has the same components that red wine has.
Right,
But you'd
right.
have to drink like 500 bottles a day,
Right.
to get the benefit. So you've
Sure.
got that. But isn't it
Yes.
true that of these supplements you can get a good resveratrol and a not so good resveratrol, that type of thing?
Well, sure. First of all, you don't want any other contaminants in your supplement. You want to
Right.
purchase from a company such as Now Foods or another that actually tests their incoming raw materials. And in the case of resveratrol, it's a perfect example where many nutrients and supplements have different forms. And even though a consumer might be familiar with resveratrol, for example, they might not be familiar with the fact that the most commonly used form is called trans-resveratrol.
Let me write that down.
Yeah, trans-resveratrol. And this is basically a chemistry term that has something to do with the orientation of the molecule. But basically, when one consumes resveratrol, they want it to be trans-resveratrol. And generally, just kind of a fun fact, everybody's familiar with the idea that resveratrol is a component of red wine, and thought to be one of the components in red wine responsible for what we call the French paradox, which is this whole idea that despite having a really rich diet, there seems to be lower rates of cardiovascular disease in France than in the United States. And anyways, they consume a lot of red wine.
Yeah.
So, resveratrol. Red wine doesn't actually have super high concentrations of resveratrol.
Right.
And it's probably not a good idea for many of our listeners to start drinking an entire bottle of red wine every night just to get their resveratrol because, of course, we have other issues like alcohol.
Yeah.
So, supplement companies derive resveratrol from an herb called Polygonum cuspidatum.
Whoa.
Which, I pulled that one out of my pocket.
Yeah, I can't
And,
even say it one time, let alone 3 times.
otherwise known as the very awesome-sounding Japanese knotweed. So when you look at supplements, don't be afraid when you see the back of a bottle and it says trans resveratrol, hopefully 100%, and it'll often note that it's derived from Polygonum cuspidatum or Japanese knotweed. And this, again, is just an example of, we're going to hopefully talk about things like, forms of nutrients and what to look for on a supplement label that tells you if you're buying a quality product, and how to know if a company is a quality company, since, there's no listing out there that says who's good and who's not. We really have to go by what the companies actually are able to tell us that they do and how they process the materials in the first place.
So I'm going to have to check out this trans resveratrol. I'm curious to see what I took this morning. I need to get over to O'Fallon Nutrition. Now tell us about your store in O'Fallon, Missouri, where it's at and the hours and that sort of thing, David.
Oh, sure. Well, as Steve said, our store is called O'Fallon Nutrition, and we're located on a street called Veterans Memorial Parkway. A lot of folks know that as the South Service Road to Highway 70. Now, we're about 6 blocks west of Route K on Veterans Memorial Parkway, in a strip mall called Fort Zumwalt Square. There's a classic restaurant in O'Fallon named JJ's. It's right there in a corner. And, of course, there's the 24-hour emergency animal clinic in the other corner. And we're right there in the middle under a blue awning. And we're open from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. Monday through Friday, 10 until 5 on Saturday. Our phone number, Steve, is 636-240-5283. We have a great staff there all the time. In fact, we're really proud. One of our recent new staff members is a guy named Dr. Jim McDaniel. He's actually a chiropractor who has a passionate interest in nutrition. We're really excited about him. We have our manager, Susan. We have great staff like Kathleen and Evelyn and our new friend, Daniel. And we really emphasize training at O'Fallon Nutrition. So what we hope consumers will find is folks that are knowledgeable, passionate about nutrition, interested in it, excited to tell them about it, and excited to help our customers look into things and research new ideas.
Talking in this first segment of this very first installment of What About Nutrition, our brand new program on Westplex News Talk 94.1 every Saturday from 11 to 11:30, Dave Gall, it made me realize that when you go to like Sam's Club or Costco or anything like that and you go to that nutrition aisle, you're not going to get the kind of service
that's right
that you're going to find at O'Fallon Nutrition. And I think it's very, very important. It's going to be a theme throughout the course of this program. We're going to be right back with segment number 2 on this Saturday morning in May as you're listening to What About Nutrition on Westplex 94.1.